Hello there and welcome to part 4 of What If Charlos Joined the Strawhats, an April Fool joke of a series where the fat pig changes his fate from the best life to a life of earnings. How will the story proceed? For that, continue watching. So without any further ado, let's get started. As they reach Kokoyashi village, Charlos is in deep thought about what has transpired. How Mihawk talked down on him, and as much as he wants to attach an admiral on Mihawk's ass, he has changed a lot since he left Mary Jo's. From someone who always got what he wanted to earning things himself. Thanks to Luffy and Zoro, Charlos got the motivation to earn things he wants for himself, but Mihawk showed him something that he never expected to be thrown in his face. The world is run by the strong, and due to him being a world noble, he is automatically considered as strong even though without personally being strong himself. But Charlos understood that only the strong deserve to talk down on the weak, not him, who only speaks because his ancestors were strong. A burning desire rises in Charlos, hating Mihawk for what he has said to him. Charlos is going to show Mihawk who is the strongest, the power that his ancestors earned for themselves. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to be so strong that he can talk down on anyone he wishes. So strong that commoners like Mihawk are scared to lift even their heads in front of his presence, just like his life before he joined the crew. But this time, it is because of his own power, not because he is a descendant of the first 20. As Charlos decides on his dream, the crew arrives on Kokoyashi village, where they are targeted by fishmen who are suspicious about a boat coming to the shore. As Usopp and Johnny try to flee, Charlos asks why they are fleeing. He is surprised by the fact that fishmen are on the island, but he had fishmen as pets before, so he thinks that they are not all that much of a threat. The fishermen come to the boat, and Zoro deals with one of them, leaving the other to be dealt with Usopp, Johnny, and Charlos. Charlos stands in front, throwing a punch. The fishman blocks it easily, but the fist slips from the fisherman's skin, allowing Charlos to get in close and punch the surprised fisherman in the jaw, making him tumble. Usopp uses his chance to fire a shot, while Johnny slashes at the fisherman, cutting him a little. Charlos continues the momentum by constantly punching the fisherman. The crew plus Johnny dock on the island, where they meet Nojiko, Nami's sister. She takes them to her house and explains Nami's backstory, surprising everyone. As they talk, they hear commotion, and following it, they go into town where Arlong, the captain of the Arlong pirates, and his underling are harassing the people, including trying to kill Genzo, the village chief. Zoro steps in between them, not fearing the consequences of his actions. Charlos follows Zoro, also ready to fight. Seeing Mihawk's power and him talking down to Charlos pissed Charlos off so badly that it lit a fire inside of him, wanting to get stronger. The fishmen surrounding Arlong attack Zoro and Charlos but are blasted by Usopp, who is shaking his legs due to fear. Zoro uses his single sword to cut through the fishmen as Charlos, along with Usopp, fight against the remaining fishmen. Just as Arlong steps in to dispose of these insects, the situation turns from bad to completely unpredictable. A ship crashes into the building and out comes 3 people, Luffy, Sanji, and Yosaku. Luffy did not know what is going on, but seeing Zoro and Charlos fighting against these fishmen, both Luffy and Sanji square up to them, starting to destroy all the fishmen. Due to Mihawk killing Don Creek, Luffy didn't need to waste time fighting him and came straight to Kokoyashi village with Sanji much earlier than in canon. Luffy tried to recruit Gin into the crew, but Gin was devastated after Creek's death, so Zeph decides to let him join the cook of Baratiers. Sanji fights against Karubi, while Usopp distracts Chew. Hearing the commotion, Nami and Hachan arrive in the village, with Zoro taking on Hachan, leaving Luffy and Charlos to fight the rest. Arlong jumps into the fight, but Luffy takes him on, leaving Charlos to fight a 1v10 against the remaining fishmen. Each attack slips past Charlos as he hits the fishman with everything he's got, but even if he is untouchable, that does not mean he can defeat every single opponent. The fishmen are way faster than Charlos, way stronger than him, and every attack he hits them with is not effective. Not only that, but Charlos gets quickly exhausted. His stamina is really trash. As the fishmen pile on him, he remembers Mihawk's words about not being worthy of calling people weak, and in anger, he slams his fist into a fishman and accidentally uses his devil fruit powers on the fishman, covering his entire body with slipperiness. The fishman starts spinning like a blade, and Charlos does not know what is happening. He takes this opportunity to kick the spinning fishman. This causes the spinning fishman to get sent flying into another fishman with the entire weight and the force of the spin, knocking them both out, shocking not only Charlos but also the remaining 8 fishmen. Charlos does not understand what has happened, but he throws another punch at the fishman, wanting the same thing to happen once again. It happens. This time, the fishman slips, falling onto his ass, which causes enough friction to make him move. No, slide towards the other fishman, slamming into his leg with enough force to topple the fishman, making him collapse on the ground with a groan. Charlos doesn't entirely grasp what is happening due to his lower battle intelligence, but what he does notice that he is somehow making his opponent slippery, and that has caused them to slam into each other with such force that they get knocked out. Charlos gets an idea. If they can do it, why can't he? Charlos slips through the battlefield, gathering enough force with his momentum and then slamming it into a fishman, finally doing some damage. This motivates Charlos, who uses his slipperiness as both a defensive move and an offensive move, letting attacks slip as he moves fast enough to generate enough force to slam into fishermen and injure them. Just think of this as flash punching someone with super speed, but in this scenario, Charlos is moving at incredible speeds as he is slipping through the ground with no grip at all. Charlos starts knocking off fishermen left and right, finally defeating all of them, winning his fight while the others finish their own battles, all of them winning. Nami sheds tears, confusing Charlos, but they are interrupted by a rat-looking face, which Charlos kicks in the face as he does not like the face, making the rat-faced Marine put a bounty on Charlos and Luffy. Luffy has a bounty of 30 million, while Charlos has a bounty of 5 million, which irks Zoro, as Zoro does not have a bounty yet, but Charlos does. As the Strawhats celebrate, they reach Lockdown, where they encounter Smoker. Now, due to Alvida dying, Buggy isn't saved from his lone journey, which makes the entire Buggy pirates be eaten by cannibals. So even if Buggy does find them eventually, he is only able to find his body. The rest of his crew are dead. Now, the crew runs from Smoker, helped by Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon. As they near the reverse mountain, which is the entrance of their Grand Line, all of them shout out their goals. Luffy wants to be Pirate King. Zoro wants to be the greatest swordsman. Nami wants to create a map of the entire world. Sanji wants to find the All Blue. Usopp wants to become the great warrior of the sea. And lastly, Charlos, who's the first mate of the Straw Hat Pirates, wants to be as strong as the first 20. No, he's going to be even stronger than the first 20. Hell, even stronger than the entirety of the world government itself, solidifying his position in Luffy's crew as their friend. As the Straw Hat Pirates enter the Grand Line, they meet Laboon, a giant-ass whale. They also meet two Baroque work members and decide to help them, taking them to Whiskey Peak. As they are parting on the island, Zoro brings Charlos aside, deciding to let him fight. This could be a good experience for him, and as night falls, both Zoro and Charlos attack the bounty hunters, destroying them easily. Charlos uses his new moves to do some crazy damage, impressing Zoro. Zoro and Charlos make quick work of the Baroque Works bounty hunters. The higher members of the Baroque Works arrive, Mr. Five and Mrs. Valentine. Luffy awakes and Nami tries to make a deal with Miss Wednesday, who is Princess Nefertari Vivi in disguise. Charlos immediately rejects this as he hears Vivi. There was something off about Miss Wednesday that Charlos couldn't really put his finger on, but now that he knows who Miss Wednesday is, he does not want to help her. Vivi realizes who Charlos is and immediately takes back the deal, not wanting to do anything with Charlos and his crew anymore. Her animosity clear. Nami sighs, but she really can't do anything, so she brings every member of the crew back to the ship and they leave without Vivi. That is why I'm going to be leaving this part for right here. With Charlos being in the crew making Vivi never get the help she needs, how will this story go? What will happen to Vivi and Alabasta? What will the Straw Hats do now that Vivi is not part of them? How will the Baroque Works dispose of Vivi? For that, continue watching this series. If you guys enjoyed this series, then do not forget to like the video, share with your fellow weebs, subscribe for more great content, and comment your opinions down below. Until then, ta-ta.